Question from Khan. Khan says, I've had strict chest to bars programmed a couple of times recently, and it's apparent I don't have the strength and or the mobility. I've always struggled when this range is used, even doing exercises like bent over rows. Will strict pull-ups help me to improve that strength and range? Any thoughts on improving this process and the reasons behind strict chest to bars over strict pull-ups? Great question. So guys, we program a lot of weighted body weight work. So the muscles of our upper body are very fast twitch, which means they respond really well, not only to the high rep work that we see in our complete relative stamina sessions, but also to heavy low rep work, just as if you're training powerlifting for the lower body. So these are an important element of your training. And you'll notice that recently we've changed from doing a strict throat to bar pull-up to a strict chest to bar pull-up. And this is because of a very important reason. Basically, when you're doing a pull-up, there should be a retraction, which is a squeeze together, and a depression, which is a pulling down of your shoulder blades. So imagine you're trying to take your right shoulder blade and put it in your back left pocket, and your left shoulder blade and put it in your back right pocket. That's the sort of positioning that we're looking for. Now, the mistake a lot of people make with pull-ups is they do the opposite. They elevate and protract their shoulder blades. Now, what this does, it means that the whole movement, the pull-up, becomes a very elbow dominant movement, and it becomes about how much you can flex at the elbow using primarily bicep strength. We want this to be a back exercise as well, not only for good posture and for good shoulder health, but because it will help you to improve and transition towards obviously high rep chest to bar pull-ups, but also muscle ups, helping with that transition. And upper back strength is also super important for any powerlifting or Olympic lifting, where you're having to set hard to be able to generate effective power. So how does this do it? Well, when you're doing a standard throat to bar pull-up, as we programmed previously, you can see I can complete a throat to bar pull-up with my scapulae, my shoulder blades, elevated. So I'm physically able to get the bar to my throat in this position. Now, people who struggle through this next 6 to 8 centimeters to get it down to their chest, you can see I can't get that bar to my chest by bending the elbows more. It won't come any lower. So the only way that I can get my chest to the bar now is by depressing and retracting my shoulder blades. So if you're struggling to go from here to here, it's not because of the strength of your arms, but because of the strength of your back. It's muscles like your mid-traps and rhomboids and lats to a degree as well, which are involved in that retraction and depression of the shoulder blades. So this can also be a really good diagnostic tool, that if you find you are weak in that final little bit of range, it's probably because you don't have that strength through your back. So this is going to take a little bit of time to improve on as we add this new stimulus, and we have this strength through the arms you've already developed from standard pull-ups, and your back is a little bit behind. So what's going to happen is this is going to improve very slowly as we do this exercise, but the strength of your back should improve rapidly. And once they meet, you no longer have a weak point there in your pull-up, and then we can progress them at the same rate. So yes, it's normal, particularly with this introduction of an extra range, for there to be a real difficulty in getting that last little bit done. But long term, this is going to make some really big changes to not only the health of your upper body, but also the strength of your upper body, and it will transfer to a lot of other movements as well. Final thing, talking about the mobility and flexibility here, because obviously that's talking about a strength deficit. In terms of the mobility and flexibility, it's really important that you guys are doing your PNF work at the end of training. So not just the static stretch, but PNF, because basically we have a relationship between how strong the muscle is and the length of that muscle. So if you think of this as an axis here on a graph, at short muscle lengths, your muscles are very weak. In the middle, they're strong, and at long muscle lengths, again, they're very weak. So if you look at a movement like a bicep curl, my bicep is quite weak in this range, it's quite weak in this range, and it's strong in the middle. So what PNF does is it actually fattens out that curve. So using, again, the example of elbow flexion, it makes you stronger at end range, and still just as strong in the middle. So this curve, instead of being quite narrow, is a broad curve. What this will mean is by doing this PNF stretching and flexibility work, you're able to increase the range over which you're able to generate more strength. So if this is the movement which is an issue for you, it's anterior chain work, anterior shoulder work, and movement through your pecs, which is going to help. So yes, this is both a strength issue and a flexibility issue.